I visited the beautiful paradise-like garden of HIDCOTE. Join me as we step through this wonderful garden. From the nationaltrust.org.uk website, HIDCOTE is an arts and crafts inspired garden with intricately designed outdoor spaces in the rolling Cotswold Hills, near Chipping Campden in Gloucestershire. HIDCOTE is a world famous arts and crafts inspired garden nestled in a North Cotswold hamlet, created by passionate plantsman and talented designer Major Lawrence Johnston. Covering an area of 10.5 acres, the garden takes visitors on a journey through intimate, formal areas, revealing a different atmosphere or new vista at every turn. Smaller, more formal garden rooms near the house give way to more natural areas that blend in with the surrounding countryside further away. There is a central axis running from east to west and another north to south, forming corridors off which the garden rooms can be found, each one with its own character and personality. Using HIDCOTE as a blank canvas, Lawrence Johnston designed the garden in phases between 1907 to 1938. He furnished borders with newly discovered plants and exotic rarities, gathered during plant collecting expeditions from around the world. As a member of both the Garden Society and the Royal Horticultural Society, Johnston and the name HIDCOTE have become synonymous with the best forms of many plants such as Hypericum HIDCOTE, Lavandula HIDCOTE and Rosa Lawrence Johnston. Major Johnston was also described by many as the most generous of hosts and gardeners, sharing seeds and cuttings with friends, delighting in garden parties, and even opening the doors to HIDCOTE to the public on a few days each year. In 1948, Lawrence Johnston gifted HIDCOTE, now a Grade 1 listed garden, to the National Trust, becoming the first garden-only property in the Trust's care. Using contemporary photographs and accounts to guide our vision, the National Trust continued to care for it for future generations to enjoy. Quoting from nationaltrust.org.uk. In 1907, Lawrence Johnston purchased the estate of HIDCOTE on behalf of his mother. The National Trust began caring for HIDCOTE in 1948 and has now been looking after this historic garden for more than 75 years. In the 17th century, the manor was turned into a farmhouse. It exchanged hands several times before local farm worker John Tucker inherited it from the Freeman family in early 1907. Within a couple of months of probate being granted, Tucker put the estate up for auction. It was advertised in the Times on the 22nd of June 1907 as a valuable freehold farm comprising 287 acres. The land would be sold with a very substantial and picturesque farmhouse with lawns and a large kitchen garden. Lawrence Johnston purchased the estate in July 1907 for £7,200 at the time. He moved into Hidcote in October 1907, his mother arriving from America in June 1908. The house was adapted to suit their requirements, with an extension being built. As there was little in the way of a garden, Lawrence effectively had a blank canvas to work with. He began to put into practice what he'd learnt from studying books such as The Art and Craft of Garden Making by Thomas H. Mawson. Lawrence went on many plant hunting expeditions to far-flung places such as South Africa, China and the Alps, looking for rare and unusual species to add to his collection. Today, Hidcote's plant collection still contains many species of national importance. Lawrence's plantsmanship was recognised as early as June 1911, less than 4 years after he had arrived at Hidcote, when he received an award of merit from the Royal Horticultural Society for the Hidcote strain of the Candelabra primrose, Primula pulverulenta. The period between 1907 and 1914 saw Lawrence create a series of intimate garden rooms around the house. However, his progress was suspended by the Great War in which he fought. In 1919, Gertrude bought the farm at the end of the village road, enabling the garden to be extended to its current boundaries. This period saw the extension of the Long Walk, along with the creation of the Wilderness, Mrs. Winthrop's garden, the Pillar Garden and the Rock Bank. By the early 1920s, the garden was largely complete. Lawrence's interest then moved on to plant hunting, both for Hidcote and the new garden he was developing in the south of France. During the 1920s and 1930s, Hidcote attracted many well-connected people and received widespread critical acclaim. The garden was open to the public on 2 or 3 days of each year to help raise money for charity. In the 1940s, Lawrence, by now in his 70s, began to think about the long-term future of the garden. He first approached the National Trust in 1943 to see if they would take over the garden. Hidcote was transferred to the National Trust in 1948. It was the first garden of national importance acquired through the Gardens Fund. Which had been established by the Trust and the Royal Horticultural Society to save significant gardens. Income generated by visitors ensures that the garden is maintained to a high standard. This will enable future generations to enjoy it as Lawrence intended, and I'm quoting wholly from nationaltrust.org.uk. During the 1920s and 1930s, as Hidcote gained critical acclaim, head gardener Frank Henry Adams, born in 1890 and died in 1939, played a vital role behind the scenes. The flourishing of the garden owed much to his steady-hand horticultural skill and quiet dedication. Adams had previously been a gardener at Windsor Castle and met Johnston by chance in 1922 at a pub in Essex after giving gardening advice to the pub landlord. Impressed by his expertise, Johnston invited him to come to Hidcote, where Adams would go on to lead a team of 7 gardeners. Adams and his family moved into a cottage in the village of Hidcote. I thoroughly enjoyed our visit to HIDCOTE. I can safely say it's one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever seen.